guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I want to answer your questions and give you my tips about starting a YouTube channel. I am constantly asked from people in real life, from people I meet in public that watch me on YouTube, and I was especially asked at my meetup for tips on how to start a YouTube channel, my suggestions. People just kind of want to know how to get started on YouTube, and a few months ago I tweeted something like, it's funny how everyone wants to do YouTube now, because when I started back in 2008, it was not considered cool. People were not making money off of this. YouTube was a completely different space. I think some people took that tweet in like a bad way. I didn't mean it in a bad way. It's just very interesting to see how times have changed, because although I wasn't extremely bullied for my YouTube channel, I wouldn't say I was ever really bullied. People were kind of mean about it in the beginning, and I remember walking into science class one day and my YouTube page and videos being played on the projector before the teacher got to class. It's weird to see how the opinion of YouTube has kind of shifted, and when I made the tweet saying that it's funny to see how many people want to start YouTube channels now, it was more referring to the fact that when I started, it was not considered cool. People thought it was weird, and when you think about it, it is kind of weird talking to a camera, but I love it. I've been doing it for so long. It's gonna be 10 years in September. So a little backstory on my YouTube channel. A lot of people ask how I started YouTube, and I actually recently remembered exactly how it started. So I don't know how I found this original YouTuber's channel, but there was this girl named Molly Claire XX on YouTube, and if you are a longtime viewer of mine, my old screen name used to be XX Allie Cosmetics XX. The X's, one was small, one was big, and I thought it looked cool. So some people was like, oh, like it sounds like a porn star name. It's not, it wasn't meant to be like anything X-rated. It was just I liked the way the X's looked. So I started following Molly, and I think she must have done a what's in my purse video, and there must have been like a suggested or recommended videos on the side, and that led me to a YouTube channel. She doesn't make videos anymore, but her name is Lulet81, and she was doing Mac hauls, and she did what's in my purse videos, and she had Louis Vuitton bags, and I just thought she was the coolest, and that led me to other people's channels. And then after being so enthralled by those videos, I decided to post my first video, which was a Sephora haul. I started in 2008, and over the years I kind of took breaks on and off. Probably the year I most regret taking a break in was 2012, or 2011, 2012. That was the year I was graduating from high school. That was the year that most of my YouTube friends gained most of their subscribers. I didn't really plan on taking a break, but I was 16 years old. It was the first year that I really felt comfortable in my skin. I was going to parties. I was like seeing boys. Like I was like, it was a very different time. I actually had things to do outside of YouTube. And so I kind of like stepped away, and I wasn't that consistent. I was on and off YouTube for most of the time I was on. And it wasn't until I think probably 2013, 2014 when I started taking it like more seriously and started really growing my channel. My channel really did grow once I started incorporating more real life topics, like when I documented my breast augmentation, weight loss, stuff like that. That's when my channel, and doing vlogs, that's when my channel really started to pick up. So I wrote out a list of my tips and tricks for YouTube and just my suggestions. So like I was saying, YouTube was such a different space when I started in 2008. People filmed in their bedrooms. We did not film in natural lighting. We were filming on webcams. Like it was a completely different ballgame. And over the years, YouTube evolved, you know, sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad. YouTube has gone through so many different phases. When I started, it was very raw, you know, no editing, filming on webcams. We kind of pioneered YouTube, like people that started really, really early on. As YouTube started to pick up, people started taking it more seriously, getting those camcorders. Remember when everyone had those clickers and they'd be like, hey guys, welcome back to today's video, and they had the clicker. I was like so jealous of the clicker, or the remote. Sorry, I know some people are gonna say, oh my god, you call it a clicker. And you know, if you've been watching YouTube for a while, you'll know that at some points, like the trendy thing on YouTube was for it to be like really quick and very snappy and super overexposed lighting and tons of bright colors and very, in my opinion, fake. And I feel like a few years ago, like maybe a year or two ago, it started shifting more to authentic and raw again. I think people really identified with that. I think that, you know, a lot of people, in my personal opinion of the whole style changes on YouTube, a lot of younger people were watching them at the time, and so younger people, you know, maybe more kid-like and more animated, more saturated, stuff like that. But then as the younger people who are watching start to grow up, they wanted more real life people, real life experiences. And I feel like now YouTube is in a space where it's more about being authentic and being real. I like it so much more. The people that I watch, they are not the people who are 24 acting like they're 14. They're real people. I feel like YouTube kind of ebbs and flows and goes through different phases. Now that I've rambled on a little bit about that, now we're gonna talk about my tips. So my number one tip is to just start. If you're waiting for the perfect lighting or the perfect camera or the perfect backdrop or this or that, you're never gonna start. You need to just sit down and film a video. I had so many people talk to me at the meetup. They're like, I wanna start YouTube. Like, should I? Like, what should I do? And I'm like, just start. Like, just post a video, get into it, get comfortable with it. Don't put pressure on yourself to be 100% perfect. I am not like a super intense person. Even like on Instagram, my sister, before she posts a picture, she'll be in like the Facetune app, like whitening and editing and everything, and I'm like watching her, I'm like, oh my god. Like with me, like on Instagram, I just like take a picture and post it. Like I don't edit that much. With that said, when you do start, make sure you're starting for a good reason. I feel like, especially in recent times, as YouTubers have started showing more PR and stuff like that, a lot of people, I feel, in my opinion, want to start YouTube just to get I don't know if it's Instagram followers or notoriety or PR packages or whatever. That's why I feel a lot of people are starting YouTube, or even if it's for AdSense money. And let me tell you, if you are starting YouTube now for the money, you missed the boat, because YouTube is so tough on its creators right now in terms of the monetization issues, the apocalypse, and especially because there's so many creators on the platform now. It's not a money pit like people think, but it's really hard for YouTubers to actually make income, a substantial income, off of their videos. Even huge YouTubers like Shane Dawson are having issues and need to turn to alternate forms of monetization, like opening merch. If you're starting for money, you need to find something else, because it's not gonna be money right away. And I know YouTube recently changed their, I don't know, for their partner program or something, but I know that in order to be monetized on YouTube, you need to have you have to hit certain credentials. And a lot of people were upset about it because you couldn't monetize it right away. And I kind of talked about this in a past vlog. I'll link it down below. But when I started YouTube, you were not a partner right away. You could not monetize your videos right away. You needed to apply for a partnership. You needed to have I think minimum 1,000 subscribers. It was a big deal when you got accepted into the partner program. And honestly, most people were excited just because we could have videos longer than 10 minutes. We could have a banner. I think we could choose a thumbnail. When I started, money was not the motive. I know when I mentioned it in a video, I got a comment saying that people weren't upset about the money. It was about being seen on YouTube. Honestly, from the outrage that I saw online, no one talked about not being seen on YouTube. Everyone was talking about the money. That leads me to my next point. You have to be okay with putting work in for free, especially when it's on a YouTube channel, because contrary to popular belief, a lot of people, brands, you know, in general, people think that it's just easy peasy lemon squeezy. You're just gonna sit down, film a video, pop it onto YouTube, and let money roll in. It's not like that, especially now. First of all, you need to film. That can take, you know, when I sit down and film a video, it's probably at least 30, 40 minutes. And then you have to import the footage, edit the footage, export the footage, upload it to YouTube, do a thumbnail, write the links. It's not just like wash and dry sort of work. I'm not saying that it's the hardest thing in the world, but it's not just like, okay, just gonna pop this on YouTube. You actually do have to put some work into it, especially if you want to take it seriously and progress this into something that you can make money from. Another thing that I just want to touch on is I feel like a lot of people kind of shame people when they start YouTube as a business. YouTube has been established for a while now. People are making money on it, making careers out of it. Of course, people can see how others succeed and apply that to their own channel. I don't think it's a bad thing to start YouTube with the goal of turning it into a potential career one day, or a potential job one day, or like letting it progress into other things. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that if you are focused and driven, I don't understand why people think that's a bad thing. I think that if you want to start YouTube as a job, then sure, be motivated, be organized, and I think that's fine. I don't know why some people act as if that's a bad thing. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is people who buy subscribers or views or even followers on Instagram. My boyfriend's mom works in PR for a company, and not for a makeup company, it's a completely different industry. But she was telling me about a trip that they took some bloggers on, and she was showing me the people that went onto the trip, and she was like, oh, he's huge. And I looked at his profile and I saw like 90,000 followers, and then I looked at his pictures and he barely got 200 to 300 likes on a picture. I was dumbfounded, because she has an agency that, you know, finds those people. I was dumbfounded that this agency did not catch on to the fact that he clearly bought his followers, because all of his pictures had maximum 300 likes. I think the most I saw in his pictures were 437 likes. Listen, if you have 90,000 followers, there is no way, especially if they're real followers, there is no way you're only gonna get 400 likes on a picture. That is clearly someone who has bought followers on Instagram. If you see someone on Instagram who's like 50,000, 60,000 followers, but they only get barely 1,000 likes, I don't feel like that's authentic followers. Do not buy your followers. It's so, I almost want to say pathetic, because you need to earn those followers, because brands are getting more savvy, and I think brands should get more savvy about who they work with and the people's engagement rates. It might look good at the beginning to have 90,000 followers, but as people are becoming more and more educated, they're gonna look at the likes, they're gonna look at the views, and they're gonna say, why is there no engagement? And that's why micro influencers are so popular right now, because a lot of these big YouTubers, they probably got most of their followers a few years ago, but they don't get as many views as they used to back in their heydays. So they look at engagement rate. Focus on engagement. Don't focus so much on numbers. Engagement is so important, and I think brands are really starting to realize that. Back to the whole taking YouTube as a business thing, that's something that I actually struggle with, because back in 2015, my sister and I launched our jewelry company, Coffee and Couture. We recently rebranded to CNC Luxury. I stopped depending on YouTube for income, and that's when it became really fun for me again. Because when YouTube was my only source of income and my only job, I would do more sponsored videos, which I didn't like doing really. I was so stressed about views, about numbers. But once we had Coffee and Couture as another source of income, YouTube became more fun for me, because I wasn't like, okay, gotta get this, gotta get that, gotta try and make all my money on YouTube. If you are getting into YouTube for the money, you are gonna be really disappointed, because YouTube is not that lucrative right now for people based just on AdSense. One of my favorite YouTubers, his name is DeFranco. He does a news show on YouTube. I'm sure many of you know him. And he's very adamant about the fact that YouTubers should be focusing on other streams of income and other ways to supplement their YouTube income, because YouTube, you cannot rely on one source of income. That is a mistake. That's something that I struggle with, because I do wanna take my channel to the next level, whatever that is, but I don't want to sell out. And that kind of leads me to another thing I want to talk about, and that is networks. I get a lot of questions about networks. I'm actually in negotiations with my network because I chose not to renew my contract with them. It expires this month. I don't know if I'm allowed to be talking about this. Honestly, I don't care, because I probably will not be renewing my contract. For those wondering, I am with Fullscreen. And management, oh god, management is a whole nother thing I'll talk about maybe one day. With my network, they took, I think, 20% of my income from based on YouTube views. And in my experience, they haven't really done that much for me. I've been with them for a while. In my experience, unless you are a mega brand, unless you're freaking Logan Paul or Shane Dawson or someone like huge, they are not gonna focus on you the way that you deserve to be focused on, or in a way that they deserve to get a cut of your revenue. It makes me really angry to see how much money I've given them over the past couple of years, and they haven't really been doing anything. And I think that's how they make most of their money. They get all these people signed on, and they get a percentage of their income, and they don't really do much. And that's the truth. Unless you're a really big name, they're not gonna do much for you. They promise you things in the beginning, and in my experience, the most that they can really do is kind of secure brand deals for you through the platform. As someone who doesn't do a lot of sponsored content on my channel, that doesn't really bring much to the table for me. It doesn't really do anything for me. So for me, it's not really worth it. If you are just starting out, do not like sign on to broadband TV or Fullscreen or Style Hall until you really know what they can offer you beyond brand deals. I actually got an email from them because my contract expires this month, and they were offering me like a different like sort of cut, and I emailed them back asking what they can do for me beyond brand deals, because that's not something I'm really interested in. I know a lot of people ask me about networks and everything like that. Unless you are a big name, I would really do your research, and I would not recommend signing a contract, especially like a 3-year contract with them, because it's not worth it. And that leads me into management. I have not had the best experience with management. Now that I'm thinking about it and reflecting, when I was 16 in high school, I was contacted by this guy named Scott Fisher, and some of you may know him because he's actually Gigi Gorgeous's manager, and at the time, I think it was called Foreground. He started a management company, and you know what? He honestly was probably the best management that I had at the time. Like I said, it was around the time when I was 16 years old. I was not so focused on YouTube. I was more focused on my real life. And as a result, I wasn't able to give 100% of myself, because again, I was not like so into YouTube at the time. He was a really good manager. My current management that I'm signed with, I don't know if I should be talking about them. not good. If you are gonna sign management, I would suggest signing with a company that will only take a commission on the deals that they get for you. I would not sign anything that allows them to get a cut of your revenue from your AdSense, only on deals that they make for you. I think that's very beneficial because it motivates them to get deals for you because that's the way they get paid. As when you think about it, like how I feel about full screen, I'm the one filming, I'm the one editing, I'm the one promoting, I'm the one doing all these things and working so hard on my channel and on Instagram and doing everything else, and they get a commission for doing nothing. So I'm probably not gonna sign with them again. I'm gonna wait to see what he says. I told him we could hop on a call, but be very careful. Don't listen. They will promise you the earth, the stars, the moon, and everything. Be careful. Next thing I want to say is there are, like I said, there are so many people on YouTube now. It is very saturated. I feel like you need to have either like a unique experience or a unique perspective or something to share. There's some YouTubers that I want to talk about that have recently started that I think are really great. The first person I want to talk about is Emily McKnight. She is beautiful. She has a twin sister. They're stunning. Like honestly, I can see them going so far on YouTube because I was watching their video where they prank called their dad and I had a smile on my face the whole time because they were so funny. They have a unique perspective as twins. I actually found them a few years ago, like when I was getting my breast augmentation, because a breast augmentation account that I followed, they would post about them, so I followed them. Emily also does a lot of videos about fitness. She recently lost a ton of weight, but she just has something. I feel like some people just have it, you know what I mean? Like you just watch people and you're drawn in from the start. The truth of the matter is you're not gonna like everyone. Not everyone's gonna like me. I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea on YouTube, but some people just have it and have the personality for YouTube. Another person that I recently found is, her name is Shelley. She is I think a 3rd grade teacher. Her YouTube name is Early Adventures, and she is a first-year teacher, and that really called to me because as a kid, my sister Tony and I, we love to play teacher. I don't know why. My mom bought us a whiteboard, and in the basement we built like a classroom. Like we had a desk, we had a teacher desk, we had student desks. We would spend hours playing teacher. We loved it. And so I always kind of wanted to be a teacher, and you know, I still to this day kind of feel like, oh, I wish I could be a teacher. I kind of like live vicariously through her and her videos about becoming a teacher, and I just feel like her videos drew me in. And people love unique experiences. People love getting to learn more about like things. I feel like that's why my breast augmentation video did so well, or my series did so well, because at the time I was going in for my surgery and there was like maybe like 1 or 2 other people who had documented the entire experience, and that was a big motivating factor for me in recording my entire experience, because I was like, I want to learn more. I want to know about people's experience, and there's nothing really online. So that's why I documented the entire experience from before, after, during, stuff like that. And then when it comes to videos and your channel, consistency is key. I noticed a drastic difference in my videos, in my views, in my interaction on Instagram overall when I'm consistent on my channel. Consistency is key. At this point, I don't have a schedule on my channel. I try and upload between 2 to 4 times a week, depending on my schedule. I do try and get at least 2 to 3 videos up a week. You need to be consistent, so you can't disappear for months on end like I used to do back in 2012. And then lighting. Lighting is important. I actually don't use any sort of artificial lighting. I felt that it made me look high when I used to use it, so I have a lot of light in this area of my apartment. I have lights over here, I have light over here, so I use natural lighting. If you do live in a place that's dark, or maybe you're only going to be able to film at night, you should invest in at least a ring light. I feel like those are really helpful. And then you can also get some additional lighting, but ring lights are, I'll list the one I had down below. Ring lights are really beneficial if you're not in an area with a lot of natural lighting, or if you need extra help with lighting. Lighting is key. People want to be able to see clearly. And then in terms of cameras, I've had a few cameras. The one I'm filming on currently right now is the Canon Rebel T5i. I really like that one. I liked my Nikon, I think it was D5100. That's what I used before this one. When it comes to vlogs, I vlog on my iPhone. A lot of people don't like that, but I'm telling you, for me, it's the easiest. Not only do I not feel comfortable walking around with a big camera in public, it's also just easy. I have it all the time. It's always charged. And honestly, like I'm such a rule follower that in stores, I would feel like I had a bullseye on my back if I was walking around with a camera, because it looks so obvious. So for me, just walking around with my phone is way easier and way less like not stressful for me than walking around with a camera. So for everyone who's like, you should invest in a vlog camera, I have one. I have the Sony a5000 or something. I don't use it. I don't like using it in public. I don't like vlogging with it. It's just I I'm not comfortable with it. Oh, in terms of editing what I use iMovie. It's just what is on my MacBook Pro. I've always used iMovie. There's little settings that you can use to make it look more professional, but honestly for my type of videos, I don't need Final Cut Pro in my opinion. I don't need something that will take me so much longer to export and upload. For me, iMovie is fine. So this video is like over 30 minutes long at this point. I feel like I covered as much as I wanted to cover at this point, but if you guys want me to do a follow-up video, please feel free to leave your comments down below and I can do a follow-up video answering your questions if you have more specific questions. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and go. Let me know if you have any other questions and I'll be sure to answer them in a following video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day or night depending on when you watch this. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and also follow me on Instagram because I've been doing way more outfit of the day pictures and apparently you guys have been enjoying it, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.